Templates. Haha. Got so much to do with templates. There's always more to do. There's always more to understand. But we kind of started this, didn't we, by looking at templates and saying, oh, we're going to use a template to do this and build new content. We've now built some new content from something else, from scratch, our first data set. But how can we build a template so we can share that with our colleagues? What do we need to do? Hi, my name's Ross, the creator and founder of Geordie Consulting and Geordie Intelligence, the YouTube channel you're watching right now. As part of this series into using Power BI from a business user's perspective, we're of course doing this whole thing with a business user account level. Okay, so I have no admin rights. I don't even have proper workspace access to a lot of work, to the workspaces that the data sets are in. But I've built my first data set now, so I can build something. So this is kind of where a lot of people get to. They kind of go, I've started to do a little bit more. And it's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. It's not that, all this technical stuff I've got to learn. But one thing that's really important is to be able to build a template and to understand what goes into a template. There's kind of stuff there. And it looks a lot more complicated than it really is. So let's have a look at that. Okay, and as a heads up as well, okay, I'll say it now, next week, so the video after this, we're going to break what we've done. I'm going to have to do it in an admin function. It's not a problem, it's just kind of, I need to do something. And I was like, well, this makes sense because it's actually what we're talking about now. So it makes sense to do it and do it quite publicly for you guys to see what it is. So I've got to rebuild our monthly report pack for Jesmond Dene. So have a look at our monthly report pack at the end of this video and show you what we've done in the past. And then obviously we can kind of work out what we're going to do. And obviously you guys get a chance to kind of, you can say, oh, this is what we should put in it, put this in. Oh, I'd love to see that. Because of course you're all going to our beautiful Parkrun report pack, aren't you? Anyway, having a look and say, yeah. So you can now actually offer and say, I'd like to see a little bit more. Is that of interest? So here we are. Okay, I've kind of done some minor updates to this. I've got a new template file we've built, or a new background we've got kind of croissant. I don't know, kind of what I had lying around. Does it look okay? I think it's okay. We've just kind of faded that towards the back and we've overlaid the visuals on top of it. So you've got kind of a good picture to it. And I've put a text one on here as well, because I think these are always useful to see as well, being able to build these. There's an awful lot of discussion we can have on this text visual. The more I look at it, I go, we should talk about this. I want to spend some time going through and saying, let's build one from scratch. We'll do some more next week, which is what I mentioned next week now, because I was wanting to do this week, but I thought, no, because we'll do it practically next week, and it's something you can then download and see. So, well, that makes sense. So here we go. Okay, so we've got this. This is the view that we've got. One of the things I did want to point out, okay, and this is what you can see here in the left side, but let's actually do it. So I've got Optimize out. Okay, so in Power BI Desktop, if we zoom in here, under Optimize, we've got Performance Analyzer. So let's bring in Performance Analyzer again. Oh, let me zoom back out again. We can hit Start Recording. Let's refresh these visuals, okay, because we can kind of see this is what goes on the page. We always talk a lot about page optimization. And for me, you know, as a business user, I've just built this first report. No, what do you care? Let's have a look at another page, okay? So if we were to drill through, and if we choose, let's choose Rivetees, which we know is deliberately very small. So I've deliberately stacked the deck a bit. Go to the LA view. Okay, so I've stacked the deck. So that was reasonably quick, wasn't it? Okay. So let's pick somewhere else. So if we pick, let's say, biggest one, County Durham. So we can right click this time, go to drill through, and we see it takes a lot longer. Okay, so we've got something's going on here where it's not necessarily the quickest. So we also would experience this as well when you first open this, because it will obviously cache things. You can experience elements of it with this local authorities piece. So at the moment the local authorities piece, let me stop this. At the moment this local authorities chart is opening based on an average of the businesses in the area. Okay, so we've got that. So this is one of those areas we talk a lot about with our clients when we're saying, well, you can do things like aggregations, which potentially will improve the analysis, but in many ways, an aggregation it makes your data model a little bit less efficient, should we say? Okay, doesn't make it wrong, just less efficient. And when we're saying, well, we want to drive towards efficiency, the efficiency is a holistic view. It's the overall efficiency as opposed to specific elements of efficiency, because we're adding columns to something, which means that that table is going to be less compressible, so it will not be as optimized for use. So if we have a look, what I've done is I've added in this average lat long, and I've left it in here just so you can see. I meant to hide it, or we will hide it when we get to go live. And then we're importing this through into here. So we're going through, if we go in, do it actually into home, transform the data. Let's see again. Let's zoom in. So over on here, what we've got is we've added this, no, I'm in the wrong thing, start point here. So it's average lat long. Okay, so we've started with the start point, or the rating start point, sorry. And all we've done is we've grouped the rows. Okay, so you can see we've grouped the rows. So if we look, group the rows, let's get the average latitude and the average longitude by local authority code. And then we're pushing that through. So let's hide that. Let's disable load. And then we're pushing that into our local authorities table by simply looking through and saying, right, from here, let's merge in the queries, okay? And then let's expand them. And this is one of those areas where we say, well, this is why you want to put those comments in and the descriptions in. So, you know, merge queries doesn't help, okay? So we can say merge in the average lat long, merge in these columns, so we can expand them. Technically, I'm sure we could do the whole list average from there. Just easier doing it this way, because it helps when you go back through and trace what's going on if you have any issues or errors with it. So we can see we put those in, and we're expanding it. We've now got average lat long in there. Okay, so I can now close and apply that. I'll go through, load those, and then the final step will of course be to take these lat longs. So the final step will be to take the latitude and longitude that we have and to make sure that they are listed in our data set as latitude and longitude, obviously. So then it knows to use them as latitude and longitude. Simple. Okay, so we pick those, data category. This one is latitude, isn't it? Yeah. And this one is going to be category of longitude. And we say don't summarize for that. This one says don't summarize as well. Excellent, fantastic. Okay, so the reason why potentially we could do that is if we wanted to now look at this chart, for example, instead of it being on the average of latitude and longitude for them, where effectively what's going to happen is it's going to go away and have to get all the latitude and longitudes that match the location name, and then from there evaluate those averages. We can kind of pre-stage that calculation, so it's done as part of the model refresh. And then the impact of it storing effectively 26 extra values in 2 columns of 13 is minimal against a data set of as many as we've got already. So what, 23,000 rows of data. If we went nationally, this is 500,000 potentially. You know, it should still be better to do that than have it trying to average it out when it's needed, knowing that this chart is needed and knowing that potentially this is then the slowest visual that's going to load on the page. So there's things we can do and that we need to be doing as we're building data sets. That's kind of the point I want you to think about. All right, so we've got this done. Brilliant. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to File and publish this. Okay, because I'm going to publish this. Okay, so I'm going to pick Business SLT as our publishing location, and we're going to select. Now I've given business user, I've been given contributor rights to this workspace. So I got quite limited rights. So the one above viewer. And we can see I can publish content to that workspace. So I can now go and open it in Power BI. Let's bring that through here. Okay. So we can now see, here is our visual. Brilliant. Okay. And that loads. Perfect. So I'll make sure we'll share this with you. You guys can all see it, interact with it as you see fit. Okay, but you got the idea here. What we've also done as well is I've just aggregated business types. So institution, things like hospitals, schools, universities, those kind of things. Retail, kind of like supermarkets, retails, import, export, those kind of things. And services, which would be cafes, restaurants, takeaways, kind of food service, kind of what I mean by services. Kind of felt about right. And that fitted into this model. Again, for what you want, potentially do something different. This is kind of me making it work with the way my templates are, or with the way my page backgrounds are. What I've also done is I've built these page backgrounds. Let me bring these through. So I've got these food to backgrounds. So if I open this up, and I'm sure it's going to open on the wrong screen, of course it is. Okay, so we've got some nice page backgrounds there. Okay, so simple. We've got plenty there to get us going. So we've got 8 background slides. We've got that. So what do we need now to build a template? Technically speaking, you can build a template without a connection to a model. My recommendation, this is my recommendation, feel free to disagree. Say, put a comment down below saying, Ross, rubbish. What do you know about doing any of this nonsense? There you are on YouTube. You don't do this for a real job. You just do videos, don't you? I do this as a real job, day in, day out. Honestly, my advice is make your templates as easy to use as possible. I've even seen some videos in the last week about making Excel even easier to use in terms of the connected Excel files. I'm not sure how I feel about them, but yeah, we can talk about that in the future. But anyway, this is the right thing to do. So what we'll do is we're going to go to Power BI Desktop. Okay, so we're going to start a blank Power BI Desktop file, which is probably the first confusing thing. So we're going to go to blank report. Okay, Power BI Desktop, blank report. Brilliant. Now what do I do? So now what we do is get data from another source. Oh, where are we going to get the data from? Should we get this data from? And we're going to pick Power Platform. My mouse not working. So we'll pick Fabric, Power BI Semantic Models, Connect. I'm going to pick the Northeast Food. And again, you can see these other files I can access that I haven't built, but Ross built. Brilliant. I'm going to pick this one. Okay, I'm going to choose to connect to it. Okay. Now, once you're connected to that file, we've imported a direct query connection to the model. We haven't imported the model itself. Okay, we've imported like the connection to it. And that's the right thing. So even if you turn and say, oh, I don't want all these tables in my stuff, leave them. Okay, do not touch them because you've got a connected model to a semantic model. As soon as you start tinkering with that model, you're going to create a second model within the file. And it might be that that model is just an alteration of the direct query connection, but it causes chaos when you start doing it because issues that will creep into the model down the line. Leave them. So we've got this, okay? If you remember what I did was I put in on page 1, we put in some things. So I put in, we could put in a text box to say, right, welcome to the template for Northeast Food Hygiene. Okay. Oh, what? I love text boxes in Power BI. They're not confusing at all and don't do crazy things that really annoy me in any way, shape or form. Should we try that again, ladies and gentlemen? I think we shall. So, welcome to the Northeast Food hygiene template file. Okay, I'm gonna make that bigger. 2016. Okay, boom. All right. Okay, then we can go put some instructions in. So 1, 2, yeah, 3, whatever it is your instructions are going to be. 2 people. Okay. What I also would recommend is putting in something along this line. So I'm going to put a bulleted list. There are please hide this page before publishing or using. Duplicate the selected pages you want to use and unhide them. Rename the sheets as you see fit, if needed. Okay, so we kind of got some stuff. Step 1. Select content, build visuals. My goodness me. Publish. Okay, so we kind of got some simple stuff. There's more you can do with this. If you had a look, if you go back earlier in the beginning, you'll see there's lots more I've done with this. What I've then done at times, and the original one was I built in the data dictionary. We kind of put some in here. We put this DAX measures in as the beginnings of a data dictionary. Okay, so we could choose to put in a data dictionary. Okay, and what all I did when I did the original one was I put in some bookmarks and different bookmark selectors on it, so you could go around and pick which different one you wanted. What you do will depend on what works best in your organization. In terms of this, we're still only using 2 measures, remember, so data dictionary is probably a bit of an overkill, but we could put it in. So we've got kind of data types, and we can put in the format string, we can put in the description. Well, there's nothing coming up with this. This is a bit odd. Yeah, okay, so we do have something. So they are there. Oh, I need to. Yeah, don't arrange the data for me. Do that. Yeah. Okay, so you can go through, build what you want. We don't need format string, we don't need description, we don't need the data type. That's not going to help, is it? Let's put in the expression. Okay, so we can see this is kind of what goes into it. Okay, so as we go through and we build these up, we can work out what's happening with it. Okay, you could have multiples, you can build whatever you want. You can have multiple page direct data dictionary, that's all fine. You could choose to put this on a formatted page as well. So if you were saying to your customer base, well, potentially you want to use this. So the way we would do this is we would go through and we would say, right, for here, we're going to go deselect everything, canvas background, let's browse to it, page templates, food 2, and I think this one is probably likely to be, let's go with this. Okay, slide 8. Shouldn't take too long, come on. My goodness me, what is going on with my network today? That load? All right, so there we go. Okay, and we'll say, let's stretch that. So what we could then do is say, well, we want to put this into here. And then potentially we could put in, let's say, tables, put in a table slicer or something like that. Yeah, so we could pick and choose what we needed and those kind of things. Yeah, depending on what you've got, because you might have multiple tables, you might anyway. Okay, so we've got kind of a rough idea of data dictionary. Don't want to lose too much interest in this, or I need to spend too much time with it. But what we've done is we've built up the content of what we need, and in the original template I built, what I did was I put in a back button, didn't we? So we had a back button here, so we can We could insert, here we insert a button. It's going to be, let's say, an information button. And this one, the action for it was to go to page navigation, takes to the data dictionary. And we could then choose to put in, not the action, it is button style, isn't it? Text. Will not let me select text. No, okay. So what I'll do, okay. Well, now it's letting me put text. Dictionary. Okay, so we expand that along, do whatever you want. Okay, but you can start to build that up. We could put in like a back button, which would be a back. Those kind of things are there. So then, of course, we would be here, and we could then say, well, we want to put in a back button here to take you back to where you came from. So we could put in like back. Okay, and this will automatically go back. So we've got a structured navigation starting to take shape. So then what we would do is we would say, let's hide this. This is going to be slide 1. I'm duplicating these. That's probably the worst thing to do. Okay, slide 2. Slide 3. Okay, and we've got 8, so we could go on and do all 8 of them, of course. Okay, so now we would say, right, come here. I want slide 3. None of that, and let's fill it. Here we want slide 2. All right, let's fill it. And here we want slide 1. And that, let's fill. Okay, so we've built the core components we're going to need for it. Okay, so we've told people what they need to do. So we can put this, let's call this instructions. Okay, so we've got instructions, we've got a sample button. We could put labels on here. We could put different layouts on it, whatever we wanted. The main thing, the most important thing to remember is when you come here and you go to save as, you have to go to save as for starters. So you don't, you go to export. And export it as a Power BI template. Okay, so obviously you definitely want to save it. So we've got to save as because we'll save this to Pete. This is going to be our hygiene template. So we've got a file and export as a Power BI template. Give it a template description. So this is Northeast Food Hygiene template. Okay, save it. Where do you want to save it to? Leave it in PBIX here. I'm going to hygiene template, that's fine. Okay, and it's going to save that as a hygiene template file. Okay, so give it a second. Let's just see if it's there. In PBIX, wasn't it? So yeah, so it is saving, so it's there twice. So I'll now close this. And what we now have under type, they're both the same. Fantastic. That one would be labeled as a template. So go to view. Let's show file name extensions. So this is PBIT is what we want. Okay. So we've built the template. Really simple. All people now need is to have the template. So when you're sharing this with your colleague, they don't need to know how to connect to that file. Okay, it was going to go, it'll create a new PBIX file from here, or PBIT, PP. I'm trying to remember what they're changing it to, aren't they, in January? It's all changed, a couple of months. So it'll create that new file type here. So we've got an untitled file now. Okay, it'll think about it, and it should then come through as a connected file. What's going on with this? Got that. Let me just close this. Here we go. Okay, so it's come through untitled. Here we go. So we can now see this is using my template file. It's connected in that I have stuff there. I haven't had to do anything. It's just opened up, connected, and I now have slides 1, slide 2, slide 3. Excellent. What more could I want? Yeah? Excellent. Now for something completely different, as in the words of Monty Python, what they used to say. So this is something that we started doing, well, I started doing, probably back in 2022, as Parkrun kind of came back properly after the troubling times that we all had. So we started looking and saying, well, what can we do? And this is probably where the Parkrun dataset stems from as a whole. In my mindset was kind of, I wanted to do an annual summary. What happened in our event over a year? And let me download this file, and we'll put a link to this down below in the description. Okay, so 2024 summary stats. And this has all been built as a Power BI report. Okay, and you then simply exporting the whole Power BI report to PDF. And because it's a Power BI report, in theory, we could also export this to PowerPoint and have this whole thing running in PowerPoint natively and just share that out with the board as a board report pack. So we've kind of got two options available to you. And honestly, security-wise, the PowerPoint way is more secure than the PDF. PDF is there, public, anybody can share it with you, okay? It's public data, sharing it with you. I think everyone's all right with it, aren't they? But we can see, and it's kind of getting to the point saying, well, we've been going for a while now. So potentially this isn't necessarily cutting it anymore, is it? This will be our 7th year. We started in 2019. So it's kind of, a lot's happened over the time. And we're looking at annual events. We're looking at, in terms of, we've got stuff that's starting. We're looking at everything that's going on. What's the right thing to do? We're looking at our performance, seeing in terms of numbers of people. We've got our top 10 participants who we've got our participant, we then obviously got our volunteers, and then looking at saying, well, if we look at where we are now, do we want to look further? And should we be doing something in terms of the whole Northeast, in terms of Newcastle, in terms of actually putting some context into it as well to help? This is data storytelling, isn't it? So is Jesmond Dene Parkrun good? Are we good? Are we bad? And this is one which started, the whole point of this was, let's celebrate what's going on. Okay. So we're coming up, aren't we? We've got the 27th is going to be the last event that we have, 27th of December. So after the 27th of December, I think we've got the next week's coming out on the 29th or so. This needs to be ready. So this whole thing will be in place by then. We'll have the updated report pack, the updated PDF. We'll share it with you. You guys will get your first peek in it. And then I'll put on social media. This is now available to everyone. So be sure to watch that video as we go through the talk process of how we build it to make it into something that can go into PowerPoint. But then obviously what we'll do is we'll be exporting it as something that goes into a PDF that can then be put up on our GitHub and shared with everybody. Okay? But there's a lot that goes in here, and there's a lot of interest that I'm trying to work out what the best way to do it is, what looks best for everybody, and what people want to see as well. It needs to be something that's good for everybody. So there's a lot there, a lot to think about, I think. So let me know your thoughts on that. So what do you think? Okay. Templates are a game changer. Once you start to really use templates, and I think the bit that we didn't really push or emphasize a lot was templates will also hold your theme. So whatever your theme that you've used is, it'll be included in the template. So if you pick your corporate theme, your corporate branding, embed it in the template, pick all the stuff that goes with it in terms of the backgrounds that you've agreed, the layouts, the structures, do that. If you've got custom visuals, bring those in, make those available. You want to push those. Everything is there. If there's a particular KPI style that you want to use in your organization, embed it, put it in there. all that is there. We're talking now about the user-defined functions and the value that we can get from there. Put instructions for those there, make sure they're embedded in the model so that then they can be used there. And if they need instructions, embed the instructions in there. It makes everything simple, easy for people who, we're not developers. Remember, we're business users. This is the whole point. We are business users. Of course, I know I'm a developer, but I'm wearing the mask of a business user at the moment for these. So it needs to be something that's simple and easy for everyone to use. If it isn't, people won't use it. It's really simple. And the goal of what we're doing and what a good data analytics project is it's simple. Okay. Simplicity is king. And to do to do operational simplicity requires structural complexity. It's that simple. Okay. You have to do the legwork in the back end to make the nice, pretty pictures at the front. Really simple as drag and drop. What we're doing is we've expanded and moved on through these weeks is we've actually got to the point now where we're starting to explore beyond and the boundaries of what, I just dabble and just drag and drop stuff. The technical side is starting to creep in, but we're not being overwhelmed by it yet. Okay, there's some things I've touched on, but we haven't been overwhelmed by it. And we're not going to be overwhelmed by it with this. Definitely won't be. Okay, but I want to think next week, as I say, when we start to look at PowerPoint and using that and the real way, okay, makes a lot more sense. And having this real world example that is there, you'll see it out there. You won't see it in PowerPoint. I might put a PowerPoint locked file up there for you to have a look at. Just because from a security standpoint, it's nice to see these are secure. So people get worried, like, well, is this, is this? It's a big worry for a lot of businesses now, and information security is really there when you look at how this works. Okay, so anyway, let me know what you think down below. Don't forget to be kind. Let us know, is this working? Is it not working? What challenges have you seen that you think Power BI would be able to help you with and that you'd want us to explore more in the new year? Okay. For now, though, stay safe, take care, have a good Christmas. Ta-da.